It is Monday the 8th of August 2022. In this edition of This and That and What a Fuck, I'm going to talk a lot about some of the topics that is not carried by the mainstream media. And I've had some questions about how I select my material, and I'm not interested in parroting what the mainstream media is publishing wildly. And I try to bring you the snippets of news that you have to dig to find, and I also bring you a lot of comments from the social media, because there is a lot of truth and realities that are posted that will never hit the mainstream. And so I'm trying to bring you the things that you can use to broaden your information base and have some more knowledge if you want to participate in debates on things and just get another point of view. And that's all I'm doing. Bring you the information, you look at it, you make your own decisions, you make your mind up, and that's it. And please, I would appreciate comments. Tell me here in the bottom in the comments, tell me what to do, what you would like to see. So, here we go. This first one is from Africa. 36 dead in DRC, deadly anti-UN protests. Now, take note, it's anti-UN protests. 4 UN peacekeepers are dead and UN buildings are ablaze in a number of cities in the Democratic Republic of Congo as civilians call for immediate withdrawal of troops who they say have failed to protect them from the militia violence. A recent poll found 44% of the population want the UN's forces MONUSCO gone immediately, as they allegedly use live ammunition on protesters. Meanwhile, DRC Senate leader Modeste Bahati demanded MONUSCO pack its bags. The UN has had a presence in the Congo since 1999, while some hope that the visit of the US Secretary of State next month will stabilize the situation. He's referring to Blinken. I wouldn't peg too much on that. What you can actually expect once Blinken has been there is the intensifying of the unrest, because that's how they operate. That is how the US rolls. They stir up the shit and then they take as much resources out of that country as they can while chaos reigns supreme. Now we go to China. The Chinese ambassador to France. The US is increasingly losing its influence, including in the Asia-Pacific region. They want to develop national economies in the region, improve the life of populations, strive for peace and tranquility. But now the United States wants to bring discord into the regional situation. This is not in the interest of the countries of the region, but the United States is interested in maintaining its hegemony. In the context of the Ukrainian crisis, most developing countries do not agree with the Western alliance and do not support sanctions against Russia. We are in favor of taking into account the legitimate concerns of each country, including Russia. The root cause of the Ukrainian crisis was the expansion of NATO, which began in the 1990s. This poses a serious problem for Russia's security. Russia has offered the West many times to sit down at the negotiating table to discuss these issues, but the US have consistently refused. And that is the truth and the whole truth. I am still puzzled. What the hell is the West trying to hide in the Ukraine? Why are they so frantic to support those Zazis there? I cannot understand it. There must be something there, or the Ukraine must be part of a puzzle or a piece of a peg in the board or a rope that is tying a lot of things together that we are totally unaware of. But the West is frantic to support that Ukraine. And now we get this, also from the Chinese. The usual US method is to create first problems and then use them to achieve their goals. And that is very true. And then there's this comment from a guy that lives in China. My girlfriend has gone from pro-CPC but relatively apolitical to outright nuke America to ashes and reunify Taiwan by force immediately in the space of 3 days. And I'd wager that many Chinese mainlanders have had a similar mindset change. America has truly poked the dragon here, and I don't think this rage is going to go away anytime soon. Hope your little holiday was worth it, Nazi Nancy. Well, and I've also got some contacts up in that part of the world, and the people are extremely unhappy about what Pelosi did there. It was completely uncalled for. And then there's this post. The USA poses the single greatest threat to world peace, and it does so under the promise of so-called freedom. For freedom under its terms is no freedom at all, and it comes at the price of peace itself. And now I'm going to show you a map of all the places that the US has bombed since World War II. Look at it, pause the thing, look at it carefully. It is absolutely nauseating. And then there's this map, also posted by the Chinese. Now it's a good time to review this image of US military bases in the world. Who is encircling whom? And I've got one question, and I don't get answers on it. Show me the country that the Chinese has bombed and invaded. Show me that country. I would like to know. And now we get to the pestilence. There are reports coming out thick and fast, but the mainstream media does not report or carry it. And all those big-mouthed journalists that were so snake poison hyped, they are quiet. You don't hear a word from them. The level of anger, rage which is going to be pouring out when the scale of what has unfolded comes into mainstream conscious awareness. Let's get prepared. We're going to need to be strong containers to hold what is coming. And then you must read the text on this image yourself, because I'm not going to read it. And then there is some more. Breaking. US life insurance companies have said that their deaths have an unexplainable increase by 40% in 18 to 49-year-olds. Now, your guess is as good as mine. Why is that happening? And now we're in the EU. The Wall Street Journal writes about the Kremlin's evil plan to raise energy prices, cause social uprise, and force the resignation of European governments who are supporting Ukraine. And I am not surprised that this is the story that they are now pushing, because they can't claim anymore that Ukraine is going to win. Now they're taking the focus away from the Ukraine, and now they're focusing back on Russia, and the evil Russians wants to make European governments collapse. Well, point is, they did it to themselves. They decided that they will make their citizens suffer, and they are going to suffer. And then we get this. More than 1,000 more new illegal immigrants arrive in Italy within hours. Overwhelmingly majority are men from Pakistan, Sudan, Ethiopia, Somalia, Tunisia, Nigeria, Libya and Afghanistan. Locals said it feels as though they are being invaded. Yippee, locals, your eyes are opening, but you'll have to buckle up. Your government has got a plan for you. And then it will be interesting to see how this impacts tourism to these countries like Germany, England, France, Italy, Portugal, etc. People will start traveling to Poland, Russia, Hungary, Czechia to avoid this. They won't want to risk being mugged, assaulted or killed. And the Europeans are in for a hell of a surprise. And there's a response. Exactly. Most likely going to get armed with the majority of the weapons the American taxpayers has purchased for Zelensky's regime that has gone missing in action. Most likely the black market has these weapons now. And I have mentioned it previously in some way, Skidmarks. Europe, you've got problems. There's millions of young, able fighting men on your soil, entrenched into your communities. You don't even know where they are. And here comes their weapons. What angers me is that the governments are spending a ton of dollars to move these people here instead of helping the citizens with incentives to have more babies, increase marriages and increase the native populations. This is evil beyond words. Well, this is on Twitter, Sweet Cake Lover. I've got news for you. This is all part of the plan. They are going to dilute all cultures so that there is just this grey bundle of unattached people around, which will be easy to be moved around and pushed around and controlled. And this one could actually have been a what a fuck, but it's not. Firewood sales increasing in the Netherlands due to fear of gas shortage in the winter. How bizarre is that? In 2022, the Netherlands are back to the Stone Age. They must gather wood for the winter. I wonder how many facilities are there to burn wood in. There's problems coming for Europe. And they must thank Ursula von der Crazy and her cabal there in Brussels. You are getting exactly what you have allowed them to do for a long time. And they are now entrenched solidly and they're going to hammer you. The next one is just a post that was posted in that same thread about the migrants. The average Serbian girl, the best of US Western Europe girls. You can make up your own mind. And then there's this one. The interim Bulgarian government does not rule out the possibility of negotiating a new long-term contract with Russia's Gazprom. And that must get those guys in Brussels extremely excited. And then there's this one. You can look at it and you can think about it. This is just a guy that is forecasting of what's going to happen to the world's biggest economies by 2030. And there's some interesting things there. The most interesting one is that Russia will be the biggest economy in Europe. Well, read it, think about it like you want, make up your own mind, but keep all the facts in mind. And then we get this one. Finland warns about imminent downturn in Europe. An economic downturn is looming over the European Union amid the Ukraine conflict. Finnish President Sauli Niinisto warned in an interview with the local media. Even we in Finland are used to living with the idea that everything will get better next year. But now this is suddenly no longer the case. Well, wake up and have a coffee, Sherlock. You guys knew what you were going to do to Russia, and obviously that plan did not work. But you guys don't have a reverse gear. And this is also from Finland. This is actually quite disturbing. Millions of tons of berries will rot in the fields of Finland due to the lack of Ukrainians. According to the IL portal, earlier about 70% of strawberry pickers were from Ukraine. Now the number of workers from this country has decreased many times. Residents of Thailand will help compensate for the shortage of personnel, the publication believes. By the way, Finns are in no hurry to pick strawberries because of low pay and difficult work conditions. Well, they'll have to change their attitude because they're going to starve. And then we've got this here. The Austrian presidential candidate believes that the EU complaints about gas problems are similar to schizophrenia. If you said that you no longer need oil and gas from Russia, then you shouldn't complain later, said Gerald Gross. And there is a lot of sense in what he is saying. And you can stop the thing and read the whole article. But it looks like there are people that are now beginning to open their eyes and open their mouths and starting to speak out. I'm waiting for the day where the industrial leaders in these countries are going to wake up. Because this guy says about 300,000 people will lose their jobs. 300,000. Now, just convert that 300,000 into the amount of revenue and tax that they represent, and you will be stunned. And this one could also have been a what the fuck, but it is not. France has run out of Caesar self-propelled guns because of Ukraine. This is reported by the portal Avia. Pro-Paris believe 18 self-propelled guns to Kiev instead of the originally planned 10. Because of this, the French army was left without self-propelled guns. Read it and worry, because this is part of NATO that has got a lot of plans to go to war with Russia, and don't be surprised, the US will pull them into shit with China as well. They don't have equipment. And I've said it previously many times in my Skidmarks. Zelensky has managed to disarm NATO and to bankrupt the EU and the Americans. One would think Zelensky is an undercover agent for Moscow. And then, here is the final one in this session. Climate leader Canadian PM Justin Trudeau whisks his family off to Costa Rica on a private jet. Total hypocrisy while pushing for his nation to make massive emission cuts. And that is the truth. But again, the people look and they shake their heads because they can't believe what these guys are doing to them. It's time to wake up. This political race needs to be taken out. And then we come to the warafak. And this is a scary warafak. Food Project proposes matrix-style vertical chicken farms. They stack these chickens, they've got no feathers, their cerebral cortex has been cut off, and there's a tube into its beak, and this thing is just being fed and have to grow. This is out of science horror movies. I don't know where the hell this earth is going to end up, but it is obvious that there is lunatics in charge. And the people are absolutely stunned into apathy. They can't believe what they see. Instead of getting angry and make a plan. Well, on that note, please like, subscribe, and share. I really need the likes and the subscriptions, guys. I need some support on this. Have a nice day.